I believe in Hashem. I trust in Hashem. There never is a moment when that I am alone and I'm on my own. I believe and I trust in Hashem because I understand that He's holding my hand and every step is perfectly planned. He's holding me tight, so I'll be all right. I believe and I trust in Hashem. One of the things that we learn from this special song, that every step is perfectly planned. What does it mean it's perfectly planned? That when Hashem created the world, every single step, everything that happens in the whole wide world is all planned by Hashem. Hashem made the plan before it happened. Everything is planned by Hashem. First Hashem plans it, and then it happens. Nothing happens by itself. Nothing happens by chance. And no one and no power in the world has control except Hashem. There is only one thing that Hashem lets you plan, and that is when it comes to Torah and mitzvahs. Hashem says, I'm not going to make you do mitzvahs or averos. I'm going to let you choose. That's called bechira, freedom of choice. But everything else that happens in the world is perfectly planned by Hashem. Now that we know everything is perfectly planned, we understand how perfect it can be. Hashem is perfect, so His plans must be perfect. So that means everything that we see in the world is according to a perfect plan. There is nothing and no one that's not under Hashem's control. This is so helpful for us, because then we don't worry. We're not afraid of anyone or anything except Hashem. We know that everything is from Hashem. And we know that Hashem is good. Hashem is pure good. And Hashem loves every single one of us. Just imagine a father who has one and only child. How much does he love him? Very much. 1,000, 1,000,000, a zillion. Hashem loves us even more than that. So if Hashem loves us so much, every one of us, then Hashem surely will give us only what's good. We have to remember this the whole time. Then we won't worry. Maybe this will happen, maybe that will happen. You know what the Tzemach Tzedek says? Tracht gut, wird sein gut. Think good, then good things are going to happen. So that's why we say every step is perfectly planned. Which also means that everything in the world is according to a perfect plan. Whatever you see in the world, even a little tiny worm in the bottom of the ocean, is according to Hashem's perfect plan. A little drop of dust. Because if not, then it can't exist. Whatever is here is because Hashem created it. So it has to be according to Hashem's plan. Everything. Then I'm never ever worried. I'm not anxious. I'm not scared. I go to bed. I know Hashem is with me. I go to school. Hashem is with me. I eat. I drink. Whatever I do, we're never alone. Hashem is always with us. As a matter of fact, our Chachamim teach us that the more you have betachon in Hashem, the faster you're going to see how good everything is. Sometimes we see things which might scare us. We might get afraid of it. If we have strong bitachon that Hashem is going to make it good, we have nothing to worry about. And we see it in this week's Parsha. Moshe Rabbeinu went out to the Yidden, to his brothers, to see what's going on. And you heard the story in Shemais that he saw a Mitzri, an Egyptian, hitting a Yid. What did Moshe do? He said the Shem HaMefirash, a certain secret name of Hashem, and the Mitzri just dropped dead. He died, and Moshe covered him up. But before Moshe did it, he looked around to make sure no one is watching. But the next day, when he saw two Yidden were fighting, he told them not to fight. He said, why are you going to hit your friend? And you know what he said back to Moshe? Moshe, you want to kill me too? Just like you killed the Egyptian? When Moshe heard that, he thought, oi, it means they found out. That means that they found out that I killed the Egyptian. Pari might hear about it, and I'm going to get into trouble. And Moshe, what did he do? He said, the word got out. And guess what happened? The Torah tells us when Moshe got scared, Vayishma Pari. Pari found out. Pari heard about it. So guess what the Medrash says? The Medrash says that Moshe should not have been scared. Moshe should have had full bitachon in Hashem. Even when they said to him, you killed the Mitzri, Moshe should not be scared that Pari is going to hear about it. If he would have strong bitachon in Hashem that everything will be okay, then Pari would not have heard about it. Pari heard only because he got scared and he said that the word got out. Teaches us a lesson. Let's think of positive, good things. Don't, just like Moshe was scared that Pari might hear, and that brought to Pari to hear. Imagine if we think good things, then good things are going to happen. That's why we have to train our minds the whole time. Tracht gut, wird sein gut. Think good, and a lot of good things are going to happen. This is actually something that the Tzemach Tzedek said to a father who came to him and said that there's someone in the family who's terribly sick. The doctors gave up hope. And chas v'shalom, who knows what's going to happen? What should I do? And the Tzemach Tzedek said, what should you do? Tracht gut, wird sein gut. Think good, and it'll be good. And guess what? The kid got better. We should train our minds to always think good things are going to happen. If the Yetzer Hara puts into our mind worries and fears, we should know where it's coming from. It's coming from the Yetzer Hara. Because Hashem loves us, and Hashem is going to do good for us. And the more bitachon we have, the more we're going to see the good. And that's what it means that every step is perfectly planned. Which also means that everything in this world has a perfect purpose. Like I said before, even a little worm, a little insect, Hashem created it for a purpose. So here is a story in which you're going to see how everything has a good purpose. There was a Yid, his name was Hillel. They used to call him Hilke. He was an innkeeper. He held his inn, he rented it from the pirates, and he had it amongst many, many goyim who were mostly his customers. They used to come in for a drink of mashke, to have some tasty gefilte fish. And everybody, all the goyim there, they loved Hilke. He was always so friendly and kind to them. He never charged them more, even a penny more than he should. They respected him. They knew he's a very honest person. Except for one guy, Stepan. Well, this Stepan was a Jew hater, and he showed it openly. He used to get drunk very often. He used to come to the inn and buy one bottle of mashke and then another bottle. And when Hillel would see that he had enough, Hillel would not sell him anymore. The truth is that most of the time he came to the inn without money and would ask for mashke on credit. I'll pay you later. And Hilke did not want to give him any mashke. So all of this made Stepan very angry, and he decided he's going to take revenge. He's going to get even with Hilke. He would have killed Hilke. That's what he wanted to do. But he knew that he's going to get into real trouble for that. They'll send him away to Siberia with hard labor. So he thought very hard and very long till he came up with a terrible plan. He's going to make up a story, a lie, on Hillel to get him into trouble. So he went to the nearby town. He went to the police station and he filed a report. He told them that Hilke is doing things against the government. He's cheating the government. How? They said that Hilke is making mashke. He makes his own mashke. He makes a large amount of it. And you're supposed to report to the government every bottle of mashke that you make and that you sell. And then you're supposed to pay taxes to the government for every bottle. So Stepan said that Hilke is making a lot of mashke, but he's not paying taxes. He keeps it a secret. He only tells the government about a few bottles, but not about all of it. Most of the mashke he does not report. So they began asking him questions. And he says, I have witnesses. Yes, he brought 4 cronies. That means crooks, bad guys from the streets, to be witnesses, to say that it's exactly like Stepan is saying. So they wrote out the report, filled out the papers, and the witnesses had to sign it, that they swore that this is the story. Stepan had to swear and sign it. And now the prosecutor is going to decide what kind of punishment. The prosecutor was a Jew hater. So he demanded the highest penalty, the biggest punishment Hilke should get for doing so. But you have to wait for the judge. You have to go to court, make a court case. They're going to ask the witnesses questions, and then the judge will decide if the prosecutor is right, that he should get the punishment or not. What's with Hilke now? Hilke heard about it. He started to worry. He should have sang the song, I believe in Hashem, I trust in Hashem. Anyhow, he was worried. But I want you to know, he had a very good wife. His wife, Devaira Leah, was the daughter of a villager who was a Lubavitcher Chassid, who lived near the town of Lubavitch, where the Tzemach Tzedek was living then. And she said to him, Hilke, you know, my father is a Lubavitcher, and he always tells me stories about how the Tzemach Tzedek saved many Yidden. So why don't you go to the Tzemach Tzedek and ask him for a bracha, ask him for advice? And I always hear my father saying, the Rebbe's bracha always works. The thing is that Hilke grew up in a house, and his father was not a chassid, and never brought him to any Rebbe. So to him, you know, it's a foolish thing to go to a tzaddik, to go to a Rebbe. How is that going to help me with the judge in court? How is that going to help? But she insisted that a tzaddik is very special, and tzaddik has a special kayach that Hashem gives him. He could give you a bracha, he could give you advice. As it was getting closer to the court case, Hilke decided to go to the Rebbe. Oh, what do I have to lose? I know that only a miracle is going to save me. So he went to Lubavitch. When he got there, he spoke to the Gabbai, the one in charge, to let him into the Rebbe. And the Gabbai said, oh, sure, you want to see the Rebbe? Absolutely. I'll put your name on the list, and then you'll go in when your turn comes. So let me look at the list. Yeah, in a couple of days, come back. He says, what? In a couple of days? This is an emergency. My court case is coming up in a couple of days. Well, listen, there are a lot of other people ahead of you and very important businessmen. A lot of things going on. Later on, he spoke to the Gabbai again and explained to him what kind of emergency it is. And the Gabbai felt bad for him and said, okay, tomorrow morning, be ready, get ready to go in. Hilke was now very, very happy that he can go in right away. Because he was thinking, if I can't go in right away, I wasted my time, might as well just go home. But now that he knows it's just tomorrow morning, the next morning he got up and he davened, and he's getting ready to go into the Rebbe's room. When he came into the Tzemach Tzedek's holy room, he stood there. He didn't know what to say and what to do. And he just burst out crying. After a while, and he calmed down, he told the Tzemach Tzedek what Stepan and his gang is planning on him. Tzemach Tzedek said to him, there's no need to cry. Strengthen your bitachon in Hashem, and everything is going to turn out all right. That's all you got to do. And I want to tell you another thing, said the Tzemach Tzedek to him. Everything that Hashem created in this world has a purpose. There is nothing that Hashem created that's without purpose. Everything has a purpose. Everything has a reason why Hashem created it. Even mice that everyone hates. Nobody likes mice. Even mice Hashem created because sometimes it can bring it could be for a good purpose to help a yid. Sometimes they're helpful. He's thinking to himself, Hilke, how can they be helpful? And the Tzemach Tzedek finished by telling him, go home, relax, and just have bitachon in Hashem. When he got home, he told his wife everything that Tzemach Tzedek said. And she smiled. She said, we got a bracha. The Rebbe said everything's going to be all right. So, be relaxed. But why did he speak about the mice? And the Varaleya said, I don't know why. But we know for sure that the Rebbe said it's going to be good, it's going to be good. When the day of the court case came, he and his wife traveled to the big city to go to the court. They came to the courthouse, which was packed. There were so many Yidden and Lahavdil Goyim there, who all came because they were curious to see what's going to be the outcome of this court case. Hilke took a seat on the bench of the accused, and the court proceedings began. The judge was sitting in his place, and the first witness to start speaking was Stepan, of course. And Stepan got up and repeated his whole accusation, whatever he had to say against Hilke. When he finished saying his whole thing, the judge turned to Hilke. Hilke brought with him a defense attorney. That means a lawyer to help him. So the lawyer stood up and turned and faced Stepan and started to question him. Began asking questions to Stepan in front of the judge. Somehow, Stepan began stuttering, getting totally confused, and the answers were contradicting each other. Whatever he was saying was not making sense. And suddenly he calls out and he says, the judge should permit me to call my witnesses. My witnesses know the whole thing clearly. They will answer all the questions, and they'll confirm that whatever I'm saying is true. And the judge, who was also not a friend of the Yidden, said, okay, call them. Where are they? Oh, they're in the crowd, for sure. Stepan called them by their names. None of them showed up. Where are my 4 witnesses? He began to panic. They found out that something very strange, very weird happened to the 4 witnesses. One of them was chopping wood in the forest and got terribly injured. He got hurt, so he couldn't come. The second one drowned somehow. The third and the fourth got into a fight with each other, and they were beating up each other so badly that they ended up in bed. They're so hurt that they couldn't come to court. So none of the 4 witnesses showed up. Now you would expect the case to be dismissed. No witnesses. But the prosecutor stood up and said, His Highness, the judge, should permit me to get the report. We don't actually need the witnesses. The witnesses don't have to even be here because they already testified. They already made their report in the police station at the beginning, and everything is signed with signatures. So permit me to ask the judge that they should bring the report that's signed by the witnesses, and we'll read out the report, and that's the best testimony, that's the best proof that what I'm saying is true. The judge, again, not being a friend of the Yidden, said, okay, go ahead and bring it. They came back a few minutes later, empty-handed. And the judge says, what's going on? Where is it? And they said, it's not there anymore. The mice ate it up. What are you talking? The mice ate it up. Go bring whatever is left, even one paper. The judge wants to punish the Yid. Bring even one paper, we'll have something to accuse him with. There's nothing left. Bring me the drawer. They brought the whole drawer, put it on the table, and the judge starts looking, and all he finds is little crumbs and shreds of the paper, nothing more. The mice have eaten up everything, just left over some crumbs. There's nothing that you can read. The officer in the court said, I must say this is very strange, because all the other drawers have their other reports from other people, and the mice didn't touch one of them. The mice only ate up this drawer, all the papers in this drawer. That's so strange. And the judge says, this is the first time in my life that I've ever seen such a thing. Well, no witnesses, no papers, no reports. That means there's no proof that Hilke did anything wrong. So I must dismiss this case, and I announce that Hilke is free to go home. Everybody who heard this was so excited. The good news, they ran over to Hilke, but they say Hilke is sitting reading his Tehillim. He didn't even notice what the judge was saying. When they came over to say, Mazel Tov, you're free, his eyes filled with tears of simcha, and he got up to leave. And on the way home, he and his wife, they said to each other, now I understand the Ruach HaKodesh of the Rebbe. The Rebbe said, when I came to him, everything Hashem created in the world has a purpose. And the Rebbe said, even mice sometimes are useful. They can help. Now we know how good the mice can help. They saved me. The shluchim of Hashem, to save an innocent Yid. We learn from this story, first of all, whatever a Rebbe says has a purpose. Whatever Hashem creates has a purpose. And if the Rebbe said something that first they didn't understand why he's talking about mice, later you find out. The words of a tzaddik are perfect. They are emes. You know what our Rebbe said to us? The Rebbe said, Imdu ha'chen kulchem. Get ready. Get prepared. Mashiach is coming any moment. If the Rebbe says so, it's going to happen. And we're going to see Mashiach Tzidkenu B'Karev Mamash. Because this is a hakel, we're doing Torah, Tefillah, and Tzedakah. For Torah, we'll say Torah, Tziva, Lanu, Moshe, Meirashe Kilas Yaakov. For Tefillah, we're going to say we want Mashiach now. And for Tzedakah, we'll put a coin in Tzedakah. Seid gesund and a guten Shabbos.